All aboard Abe. Long ago, Abraham Lincoln was elected president. He had to go to Washington, D.C. This is where presidents live. How did Abe get there? Look at the picture for a hint. What do you think? As you read, think about how Abe's time was different from today. Abe's train trip. Abe took a train. Abe had a big trip to make. He was president now. He had to get to Washington, D.C. He could not take an airplane. He could not drive a car. This was long ago. There were no airplanes or cars back then. Most people rode on wagons, pulled by horses. Trains were something new. They were much faster than a wagon. Abe took a train. Abe met people. Abe's train stopped at many stations. People came to see him. Back then, there were no TVs or computers, so most people had not seen their new president. Abe loved to meet people. He stood at the back of the train. He talked to people and told them funny stories. One time, Abe was telling a story. Before he could finish, the train pulled away from the station. When the train got to the next station, Abe was surprised. He saw the same people. They had run from the last town. They wanted to hear the end of Abe's story. Abe had some problems. Abe liked meeting people. He liked telling stories. But his trip was not all fun. The train traveled through rain and snow. Abe got a cold and lost his voice, and some people just didn't like Abe. In one town, a boy threw a snowball at him. Finally, Abe's train arrived in Washington, D.C. The trip had been 13 days long. Abe had loved seeing people. Now, he had to get to work. So here is a picture of Abraham Lincoln's trip to the White House. So you can see he started here in Springfield, and he had to go all the way up and down to Washington, D.C. And here is a map of the United States. And you can see in this blue area right here, that is this area. And right here is a picture of Abe's hat. It is in a museum in Washington, D.C. Abe's White House. When Abe got to Washington, D.C., he lived in the White House. He lived there with his wife and kids. The house seemed fancy to Abe. It had indoor toilets that flushed. Abe's kids liked the house too. It was fun to play in. They rode a goat down the hall. The White House when Abe was president. So this is what it looked like. And normal people did not have toilets inside their houses that flushed. So this was new to Abe. So one says, click on the headline of the article. That would be here. 2, what did Abe's kids ride down the hall? A horse, a motorcycle, or a goat? Fill in what you think. All right, so Number 3 says, drag the X to the photo caption. Since we're not doing this on a computer, I'm going to show you right here. This is the caption on the picture. Now there's a bonus. Look at the photo of the White House when Abe was president. When people came to visit Abe, did they drive cars? How can you tell? So take a close look at this picture. What do you see? Are those cars? Write what you see right down here.